Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to How We Heal with Dr. Maria. I'm super excited to have my special guest on today because I really do believe these are some things that we need to talk about and put them out in the realm of healing. As you know, this show intends to share all various types of healing with every aspect of your life. And it's my belief that some of this healing could be focused on the area of finances and money. Okay, so how do you like that today? That's kind of exciting. So, if you're interested in finances and healing, this is the show for you right now because we're going to really get into it. So, to me, also, this time of year is like the real new year, and I feel like it's that time where you want a fresh start. It's spring. It's sort of like getting rid of the old and putting in the new, or sort of like that death to winter and then that new birth to spring. And so that's sort of what I want to do today. Also, we're in a Virgo full moon. We're just starting that. And that's also sort of the same, that cleansing and that clearing of the karma. Okay. And so some people might think of that as spring cleaning, right? Or, every time we're clearing and cleansing, whether it be a detox, clearing out a closet, what does it leave room for? Newness and transformation. It's my belief anyway. So, you guys, I got to tell you a story. I was in a group just recently, probably about 2 weeks ago. It was sort of a coaching group, and we were all on Zoom, and we were prompted with a question. And we were asked, how many people here, just raise your hand, had ever had money challenges? Well, everyone raised their hand. And so this is not anything new for people, right? This is like most of the general public is not exempt from having times in their life where there might be money challenges, or they were taught some things that might not necessarily be true. They might be some myths. So I think if you live on this planet, we deal with currency, right? So to go ahead, like money currency, so it's to buy or sell services or products, period. So we have to deal with that. So, since I believe and want to practice the laws of abundance, I invited my new friend, Regina Cornelia, onto the show today. So, thanks for coming on board, Miss Regina.
Thank you.
And I just want to read a little bit about you first before we get going. And then we'll just, after that, we'll let the games begin. It's all on the table, okay? So Regina's been a financial planner and sovereignty. I love this sovereignty coach for the past 5.5 years. Regina uses her worldly awareness. I can't wait to hear about this because this is my jam right here. And intuition to guide clients through a non-traditional financial planning strategy or strategies. She's also the creator of, this is so interesting to me, the Financial Sovereign Method, which she'll be launching very soon. The method is a step-by-step process to help people get out of debt, okay, create tax-free income, heal their relationship with money, and create generational wealth, okay? If you guys are sovereignty people, if you believe in freedom, this is the show for you right now. Regina lives in the southwest of Idaho with her boyfriend and her cat Sage. Cute.
Gotta mention her.
Okay. In her free time, she loves to travel and enjoy the outdoors. Well, of course, you're in the best place for that, girlfriend. And you guys, I will definitely put how to get a hold of Regina in the description. She is Sovereignty AF on Instagram, and I love
Sovereign AF.
Sovereign AF. Did I
Yeah.
say EF? Sorry. Um, but what I want to ask you first is, how do we heal our relationship with money?
It's a great question. And there's so many different layers to that.
Mhm.
And we can talk for hours and hours and hours. But I feel like the first step is awareness. So becoming aware of what your relationship with money is, the programming that we've had our whole lives. The masses have been programmed not for success. The majority of us have been programmed for lack and fear around money and fear around investing. And I don't know if you've heard things as a child, but I heard my elders say things like, money's the root of all evil and money doesn't grow on trees. And these things get embedded in us. And then we become adults and we find for some reason, even if we have a great paying job, we're not holding on to money. It's not growing. We don't have it. Like it comes in and it goes right back out. And there's so many different levels to that energetically, emotionally. And I feel like the first step is awareness, becoming aware of our beliefs around money, diving deep into our subconscious, removing those beliefs, and then reprogramming ourselves. And there are so many different techniques that I use with people. Um, I'll give you a simple one now. And um, obviously be aware of how you feel about money throughout your day-to-day life, but when you go to pay for something, even at the grocery store, whether it's with cash or a credit card or a debit card, say thank you. Even though when I go grocery shopping, I get nothing but aggravation because I'm so mad at how expensive it is. So I'm trying to shift that into thank you, thank you, gratitude for the money is just an energy exchange. It's an exchange of value, even though with inflation and everything, we're paying out the yin yang right now. But every time you pay a bill, every time you pay for something, to simply say thank you. And then we can get into feng shui and so many different tips, but have gratitude for every time you have a money exchange with someone. Always say thank you and literally talk to your money, your debit card, your credit card, and say thank you. I have my wallet feng shuied. It's very organized. I have a little citrine crystal in there. And when I open it, I say, thank you. Or if I have cash in there, I open it and I feel like gratitude. Thank you for what this cash can bring to my life, knowing it's just energy. So that's just a simple tip. We could talk all day about it, but awareness, number one, gratitude and healing that relationship, changing your awareness of how you feel towards money, how you feel towards people with money. Here's a good one is how do you feel towards seeing other people around you be financially successful? That's a trigger for some people. So if you notice, man, I'm feeling resentful or jealous, or, how do you feel towards those people around you with money? That's some good inner work, some healing that needs to be done there, because that can easily be you when you get excited at other people that have money. That excitement towards money starts to radiate back towards you. So awareness is key. And then having gratitude, even just towards your wallet, towards your transactions, towards your actual cash. Um, there's so many different little techniques, but awareness is number one. How do you feel when you're paying for something? How do you feel when you see people with money? Um, how do you feel when you have money? And shifting that mindset, even though things are expensive and there's inflation, and I leave the grocery store aggravated. So I have to shift that into, you know what? I'm providing healthy, nutritious, organic food for myself. Thank you.
I think that's a
It's not always easy.
yeah, I think that's a good one too. It's like when you're writing out checks, like I got to a
Yeah.
point for a few years ago where yeah, I was like, it's not perfect every time, but I was like, yes, I'm so excited I have the money to pay for this. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And it feels like some karma got released, when you paid someone. Well, again, what does that leave room for? More
Right.
for you.
Right.
I did want to bring up something because you had mentioned like, growing up, some of the things that you heard.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, and this might be good if there's some parents out there listening. Um, but for me, it was almost like our parents just didn't talk about money. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? Like it wasn't like, oh no, money don't grow on trees. It wasn't like these cliche sayings that they said, but it was more like they kept it so to themselves because they were like this
mm,
united front, which I completely love about them. they were such a tight, united front that anything that had to do with money, they kept it between them, and they
Mhm.
didn't share the things. Like, I saw my dad growing up. He's a Marine. He was in the reservists by the time I was growing up. So
Mhm.
he always had the big job, then a side job, and then having to go
Yeah.
into the Marine thing,
Mhm.
whatever it was, one weekend a month and 2 weeks out of the year, something crazy like that. So he was gone a lot, and he was, and then my mom worked as well. So I think it's important to bring it up, at least, right?
Yeah.
Because it's part of the
Yeah.
teaching tool, especially if you're homeschooling. Like, where does all this stuff come from? Well, it doesn't
Yeah.
just come from out of the sky, but
I definitely relate. I mean, I'm gonna mention her, my mom, even though she's like, "Don't mention me on social media or anything." But, I've been working with her recently with her money stuff, and for years, she's had her Edward Jones financial advisor. She wouldn't talk to me about money. I couldn't help her with anything, and I'll tell you her story in a second, but, we're finally talking, and she keeps saying, "I don't like to talk about money. I don't wanna talk about money." There's so much programming there that probably comes from her childhood as well, and her environment. We're all programmed from our environment, our family, etc. And so if your parents have that relationship to money, most likely it resonates, radiates onto you. And it's like taboo for some people to talk about money when it's like, it's not a big deal. It really shouldn't be. I mean, telling someone how much is in your bank account is maybe private, but like just general talking about money and making money and how to make more money, how to save money, that shouldn't be taboo. But it is
oh, I was
somehow.
just saying, I agree. I completely agree. Were you going to tell more about your mom? She's probably going to watch the show and just be like, ah.
I might tell her to watch the show. Um, well, I mean, when we talk about different investing strategies, I don't know if you want to get into that. I do have a story about how I was able to help her.
Okay, I like that
We could talk
story.
about that later. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter when. I just really love the story because it, first of off, it shows how you are helping people and
Mhm.
how you can help people. And it sort of, I think, helps anyone as far as education. You know,
Mhm.
oh man, that I wasn't thinking of that, or
Mhm.
my perspective wasn't looking at it like that. So, anything that we talk about today is really about opening up that perspective and opening up our brain to kind of like go, okay, so go for it now if you want, or we can head into some other tips on, sovereignty.
Um, let's go into it's kind of a totally different topic to start talking about different types of investment plans and retirement plans. Let's we can flow into that later maybe. Unless you want to go into that now.
So I
Um,
really like the idea about having an abundant mindset. Okay.
yeah.
And I think that is like, if we're talking about an umbrella thing, that is really the main thing to have. And so some of that, again, comes from our youth. It comes from, healing traumas in our life.
Mhm.
And then also, I'm a chiropractor, right? So if a person is in pain, literally,
Mhm.
their body is in pain, they are not going to be thinking most of the time with the laws of abundance, because it is hard to, when you're in
Mhm.
pain, to be. So there's so many different ways to kind of look at this,
Mhm.
and I really want people to kind of know that there's hope. I want them
Mhm.
to know that there's people out there like you to help them, and to think about it
Mhm.
differently. um,
Yeah.
Whatever are the blocks, whether it be pain in your
Mhm.
body, whether it be old thinking, whether it be fear type thinking, that
Mhm.
there are exercises that you can do to help yourself. I really
Mhm.
like the idea of tapping. I know you
Mhm.
know tapping. Just
Mhm.
what are some of the abundant mindset exercises that you've had success with your clients?
So some of the things I do with I feel like a big uh, component of abundant mindset is also tied to self-love. What I find is that a lot of people who are not able to hold on to wealth, even if they came into a large sum of money, they don't hold on to it because they don't believe that they're worthy of it. So there's a huge component, I feel, that's around self-love and worthiness, knowing you are worthy of large amounts of money. And whether that's programming or society or upbringing that has taught many of us that we're not worthy. um I actually had a post about this on social media, and some guy came in and started arguing with me. No, you can just go make money. And I'm like, well, he obviously doesn't understand there's an energetic and emotional component to that. Whereas if you're not in alignment with abundance and you don't feel worthy of it, it can come into your life and it's going to exit as fast as it comes. I mean, I know we all know people that make, like, let's just say 100K, 200K, but they're spending 300K. Or even people who are millionaires, they make $1 million a year, but they spend 1.5 million, right? So then they have no money. And I think part of that is, again, awareness. Part of that is shifting your beliefs, building up your self-love and self-worth, and then also looking at your habits, because we're programmed in society. The difference between the poor and the wealthy is when the poor come into money, they buy liabilities, they buy cars, they buy shiny objects that we don't need. Wealthy people buy assets, they buy businesses, they invest their money. Poor people save their money. So, and we're not taught successfully in school. We're not taught in society. Even a lot of these different influencers out there, I disagree with most of what they're saying. And I don't like to pinpoint any of them, but let's take Dave Ramsey for example, right? This is going to trigger some people, but I agree with some of his techniques, but he basically says don't use debt at all. Don't have credit cards. I think that's great for the poor and the middle class, but the wealthy use credit cards. They leverage other people's money and loans to buy businesses. They don't use their money. It's called OPM,
Mhm.
other people's money. So, again, I kind of went off a little bit, but coming back to your question is basically awareness, reprogramming, and healing and self-love, recognizing that you're worthy of it, but then also analyzing your habits. So what I do with clients is not only do we analyze their beliefs and their subconscious through deep meditations, and I also do quantum healing energy sessions with them, and we dive deep in, and I use my intuition to kind of help pull out these subconscious beliefs. And then we work on reprogramming with affirmations and awareness and different manifestation practices. But it's also physically looking at some of their habits. Like, um, my best friend, I love her to death, is the most spontaneous, but um, she is all about convenience, and convenience is the killer of dreams. Dreams, health, and wealth. Like, what's convenient right now is just throw down the credit card, right? Just same thing with health. What's convenient on the way home? Stop at the fast food place, right? Um, Convenience is the killer of dreams. But actually pausing and delaying gratification and knowing, okay, having that money in the bank right now is amazing, but I can multiply that. And there's different ways to multiply that. um and I could put some of that away to multiply for later. And I can, if I'm buying, you know if I'm going to buy something, why not buy a piece of real estate? Why not buy a duplex, like rent out a part of that real estate? Why not, I mean, we all need cars and vehicles, but it just seems that, like, a lot of people I know, I would say poor and middle class, if we're going to label people, which I hate, but we use labels in this reality. Um, they go out and they buy the shiny object and the shiny car and the all of that. And I see people doing that all the time, and the fancy Louis Vuitton bags and the fancy shoes. And if you're overspending your means, you're never going to get ahead. If you're always buying liabilities, you're never going to get ahead. And I personally would rather be that person with that old car, right? But I'm buying assets. I can get the fancy car later, right? My assets can buy them for me, not me. So it's shifting that mentality. It's delayed gratification and not caring what people think and trying to keep up with the Joneses, right? Because in society, in different areas of society, it's very like, woo, who's who and the name brands and all that jazz. And personally, I just want some land and some chickens and some passive income. I could care less about that, but it's taken me a while too to come out of that and to stop caring what people think and to shift that thinking. So it's a multi-level process of building new habits, becoming aware, diving deep into subconscious thoughts, reprogramming those through affirmations and other techniques. And it's not a like instant. It's not a poof, I wave my wand and you're completely healed. You're going to be a millionaire tomorrow. So it's a process and people need to know that it's worth it and they're worth it to invest in themselves and to do these techniques and to work on that because um, it's a different way of living to shift all of those things.
I really think that because you and I have worked together a little bit now, and I really feel like, gosh, if I had known some of these things when I was younger, or
Yes.
it just was not. I was listening too much to the slave-minded thinking, I guess you could say, or
Yes.
the programming, the old
Yeah.
programming, or the purposeful programming, right?
Hmm.
And like the whole, okay, this is not to negate um, further education or anything like that. And of
Right.
course, I have a DR in front of my name, so okay, I can't
Yeah.
really
I have a master's degree too.
say
So,
much. Yeah, so it's like, that being said, I it would have gone a long way if I had
mhm,
had a little bit more time understanding the whole student loan process, the whole paying back of a student loan, the
yeah.
whole like, why does it even exist? Like, there were so many other things that I could have done. Okay, my mission
Hmm.
on this planet is to help people. So it's like I could be doing anything, I could have done anything. I didn't have to go to chiropractic school.
Right.
Okay. So if it sounds like I'm passionate about this, it's because probably there's a little bit of pissed offness behind it. But it's like, the whole idea of oh, just get a student loan, no biggie, you'll pay it back, blah blah
Mhm.
blah. Well, no one kind of, you know what the future is going to look like. It doesn't really look like that. It's not that easy. Okay. And
Yeah.
to just to treat it like so willy-nilly, like not put any weight on the fact that you owe the government whatever type
Mhm.
of loan it is, right?
Mhm.
You owe the government money, more or less,
Yeah.
or more often than not. So I really want to go back to the habits thing because of the fact that I did connect with you and I was able to get some exercises in last weekend.
Mhm.
OMG,
We just
WTF,
started. We haven't even touched on,
like,
like, anything.
okay, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Okay, because like the people that know know that I'm this like flighty, Pisces. Like I need that Capricorn energy to like pull me back down and just like
Mhm.
ground me a little bit. Because sometimes I get a little like, oh, it'll all be okay. Like, no, it like pays to look at your freaking statements. It pays to, check on all your little apps and all the
Mhm.
subscriptions that you've, gotten over the months and the years and just forgot about. Okay. And so what I was able to do was like hit cancel, 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 and just sort of like find money under rocks is what I call it. You know what I mean? Just like lift up rocks and oh my gosh, there it is, And so I think it's really important to hone in on habits.
Mhm.
This may not be for some people what I'm saying right now. It might be totally in people's wheelhouses to track. Mine is not. And so that's one of my weaknesses. And so now honing in, this is like bringing in the new right now for me, honing
Mhm,
in some of those habits and techniques and things into my
mhm,
wheelhouse that I can
mhm,
embed in there into that DNA and say, hey, no, this is for your future freedom.
mhm.
So do you
Yeah,
want to talk about, okay, because we could talk about habits in general, or we could talk about, habits with
yeah.
finances. So it's like, waking up, making your bed, brushing your teeth,
Mhm.
doing all the shit you need to do, you know,
Yeah.
having that morning mindset, and
Mhm.
your affirmations and meditations. But I
Yeah.
really believe putting finances and money as part of that
Mhm.
into that thinking process will help anyone.
Yeah,
Simple, no.
absolutely. I mean, I mean, our financial system is a debt slavery system, you know? So, um, that's pretty much the reality that we live in. So once you become aware of that, you can find hacks to hack the matrix. And that's certain things that I help my clients with is how to get ahead because I mean, the way our reality is now, we have to play in it somehow. We have to play in the matrix somehow. So there's different ways that you can kind of hack it to get ahead, and nobody's really going to show you this. You've got to go out and get it. And I don't think you're going to get it in a 4-year degree. I fully agree on public school and all that. I have my master's degree, and gosh, if I can go back in time, my life would be completely different. I would have the land and the healing center and all of my dreams because what I know now is so valuable. And I love giving that to people. But gosh, if I could have started in my 20s, like investing and, I don't even know if I'd have a master's degree, to be honest with you. But, in terms of habits, I think the first step I do with clients is, um, looking at their habits. And naturally, when we start to look at income, expenses, what they're spending their money on, what their monthly expenses are, their mindset and beliefs come into play anyway. So wind up working on both. But it is eye opening. All of what we spend our money on, all the different bills and apps, and there's almost always something I can look at, and I look at it pretty frequently. Where there's another like bill that I still have a 99-cent Apple bill that I need to get rid of, and I have no idea what that is. Like, it just says Apple 99. I mean, it's only 99 cents, but like I have no clue. And there's all these different apps that you can sign up for, and you maybe use it for a month and you forget about it, and then you like 2 years later have been paying for um so I think taking an open view with a guide and a mentor and going through it with like a fine-tooth comb, and then freeing up some, like how you said, decluttering and cleansing. You do that with your bills and your expenses as well. You declutter your bank account, you declutter your expenses, and what are you spending money on that you don't need to be? And then um I don't I know many people probably agree. I don't love being on a budget or being told what to do. I think a lot of us freedom-minded, sovereign souls don't, especially in the world we live in, and it's just we're bombarded with being told what to do and slave-mindedness and all this. I don't like to be told what to do, but having a budget is very, very helpful. And having an outline and knowing, okay, I at least have an idea of 150 a week on food or 200 a week on food and supplements or whatever that is. It's so expensive these days. I don't even know. I find all my money goes to food and supplements. I don't know about other people, but tracking, okay, man, I just bought XYZ that I didn't need at the grocery store, like having an actual list, having an actual budget, even utilizing like coupons or shopping for sales, all of those things are helpful. Being aware is so key because you're not just like, I love my boyfriend, but I'm going to throw him under the bus a little bit. I love him. He doesn't look at price tags. at the grocery store or anywhere. And it's just like, OMG. And that used to be me where I didn't know what stuff at the store was. I just threw it in the cart, like, oh, well, I want this, I want that. Now you start to look and you realize, there's two different organic cans of beans. Well, one is 50 cents cheaper. Does it really matter? Look at the ingredients. No, boom, 50 cent. You know what I mean? It's small, but that thinking goes a long way. So the first step I usually do is going over income and expenses, freeing up new money. And then with that comes like healing mindset and shifting our mindset and shifting our attitude and what we're doing with our money and habits. And it might be, like someone's a shoe addict. I'm thinking of someone in my life who I will remain nameless, buying $500 shoes whenever they want. But is that really in your budget? You have a closet full of 40 shoes, and you wear 3 of them. So, but if that's your habit and you love shoes, turn it into a side business, like there's ways to dive into that habit and not necessarily completely release it, but turn it into income, and even if you're not fully making that much, you're like just paying for your habit. Hey, it's better than throwing thousands out the window on shoes. But there's different ways to tap into these habits and to shift them so that it benefits you instead of just spending your money. So, lots of different things. There's no one size fits all. That's what's unique about working with every individual is what are their habits? What is their mindset? How can we turn that into an asset instead of a liability? How can we build a side stream of income so that they can buy $500 shoes whenever they want? Their side stream of income can be their shoe income, right? There's so many different things to do, and it's the method that I'm creating is not a one size fits all, but it is a step-by-step process that'll vary per individual. So, the beginning is definitely looking and analyzing at habits and beliefs and what are you actually spending your money on? Where are you saving your money? Are you saving it? And most people are just putting it in the bank, getting 0.03% or who I don't even know, but you're losing money with inflation. Whereas you can be multiplying that with compound interest. You can be building tax-free income, and learning those techniques. So many different avenues to go with that. But I feel like, yeah, again, diving into the habits is one of the first things in the mindset and what you're actually doing with your money.
Yeah, I think that's so important. Obviously, I was hit with like a 2x4 this last weekend on doing some of those exercises. And frankly, you guys, it feels super good afterwards. So, it's just like
Mhm.
cleaning a cluttered desk or a closet. It
Mhm.
feels super good. Afterwards, you step back and go, whoa, oh my gosh, okay. Um,
I
so
just want to add to that.
Mhm.
Um, Honestly, decluttering your home is going to shift your finances. So declutter your home. And I feng shui, I have a wealth corner and I fully believe in that. So when I work with clients, it's non-traditional. I do all kinds of stuff, but I'm big on feng shui and energy. And the more you just cleanse your space, you're opening up to new money, new opportunities, new people. So I'm big on like cleansing and decluttering and organizing, getting rid of items that are just sitting there taking up space in your home and in your office too, wherever that is. So if you're a business owner, that's huge.
Oh, totally. And it's basically what isn't serving you anymore. Get rid
Mhm.
of that. It'll make room for new things. So you had mentioned to me that you went to school for can I get
Education.
I know you have a master's in education, but you also are like certified in
Certified energy healer.
energy healer, and because that's all we're doing, both of us, like
Yeah.
chiropractor, us just talking, it's all energy work. And I
Mhm.
think if people, okay, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you and I could talk about some of the darker forces here, like about the slave system thinking and the programming that we get all the time. I would
Mhm.
really love to concentrate on solutions, but it's like I
Mhm.
know there are people listening that are part of our communities, our
Mhm.
tribes and disclosure communities that are like, what about all the money that's been stolen from us
Yeah.
in taxes or
Mhm.
whatever, wherever it's going, right?
Yeah.
We don't know exactly. They're literally leaders of countries, leaders in our country that have said, we lost this amount of money. Well, that's
Oh,
our money. That's
yeah.
our taxpayer money. So
Infuriating.
yeah, it is infuriating. It's like I just want to give people hope that really, if we
Mhm.
just concentrate on starting at home first, starting with us, it's just like truth and disclosure is going to start with us anyway. So I think doing this at home, starting with us, starting with the kids and the family, and
Yeah.
that is some of the things that I do like about Dave Ramsey's stuff. Is just like it's all generational, which I think this is too.
Mhm.
Um, and and the kids watch you. They see everything
Mhm.
that you do. So
Yeah.
I really like the idea of concentrating on, if anyone's thinking waiting on Nasera and Jacera or those types of things that I've heard
Right.
out in the community, or concentrating on, well, what about all the money they stole, they are stealing from us daily. Maybe don't
Yeah.
go there so much. Don't spend a lot of time there, and really
Mhm.
just it'll help shift the energy to
Mhm.
behoove you if
Mhm.
you concentrate on yourself and getting your own house cleaned up first. What do you say to that?
Mhm. Yeah, I fully agree. I mean, I don't think any one of us can say 1,000% we're going to have the Jasara and Asara. That I mean, I hope so. That would be amazing. But you can't just sit and wait for that. So in the meantime, what are you doing? How can you create some investments? How can you multiply your money? How can you create some tax-free income? And also, how can you be prepared for the times ahead, like this year? And we can talk a little bit about some things I recommend for that
Go ahead.
because we right now we have like two different worlds that are intersecting. Like I was telling my hairstylist who she's got like the truth door just like cracked open and she's very interested, but she's not like there like we are, and she hasn't gone down the rabbit holes. And so I dropped so many bombs on her on Monday, but I love her. And I'm like, "Are you sure we can talk about this?" She's like, "Yes." Um but I was describing where we're at now with the two different worlds intersecting. It's like a Venn diagram. And we're like in the middle section where it like intersects, where we can see and feel the old way and the old paradigm. And then we can start to see how things are shifting while the old systems are collapsing. And we can start to feel that new energy coming in of lightness and unity and compassion, while still watching I think no matter what, we're going to watch the downfall of including our financial system. And we're going to be moving into a new financial system at some point. Um, I, so there's certain things that I recommend investing in, and I'm just going to kind of list them. They're not all traditional, and I've have never heard another financial planner list all these things because they only unfortunately usually say what gives them commission, and that's what's wrong with the industry. It's commission based, so it's almost like a conflict of interest because they're usually doing what's better for their commission, not the client. But right now, I recommend non-traditional stuff. I recommend is gold and silver, land, real estate, land, gold and silver. Um, Crypto is very volatile, and you'll get different views on that. I say use your own intuition on that. I think with every system in our reality, there's dark and light. I think obviously the agenda is to move us into digital currency, right? But I do think there is a light version of the currency. And so feel into that, whatever feels right to you. I do have some crypto. So land, gold, silver, some crypto. If it feels in alignment with you, you have to decide on that. Um, I like different annuities. Um, I prefer fixed index right now. We can talk more about that if you want. Um, Different cash value insurance investments, where that's how the wealthy build their own banks. And they call it infinite banking. And that's a whole discussion in itself. But anyone can, well, I don't want to say anyone because it is insurance. You have to be somewhat healthy. If you have a big medical issue, it's going to kind of disqualify you from that. But cash value insurance can help you build tax free income. It's a huge strategy I use with my clients. And that's how you can pull money out tax free. It's almost like building your own bank. It literally can be. Um, I'm big on those things right now. And I feel like they're pretty safe, most of those. The crypto's a little, you have to use your own intuition, but the others are pretty safe. And I feel nervous about the banks. I feel nervous about stocks. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I think we're going to shift into a whole new financial system. So right now, that's where I'm putting my money. That's where I recommend you putting, my clients putting their money. Um, and then also always number one, invest in yourself, invest in your business, invest in a light filled business. I was just talking to my best friend before hopping on here, and she doesn't have a job. She's moving to Idaho this week to live here, and she doesn't have a job. And she's like, what do I do? Do I get a certification? Like, do I start my own business? And I'm like, wow, what a scary and beautiful place to be. But yes, start your own business. Like, what businesses are we bringing into this new paradigm? Leaving the old, entering the new. We need these beautiful, light filled leaders, these um, new earth or whatever you want to call it, leaders that are heart centered, um, passionate and purpose filled leaders. That's what we need for this new reality that we're going to be building. So always invest in yourself, and a heart centered business is huge, and that can pay you 10 times, 100 times. I mean, money can't put into what a heart centered business, that you can't put a dollar amount on that, So those are my recommendations right now for where we're at and where we're potentially going. Any questions or anything about that?
Yeah, to get there sometimes, like with your friend, oftentimes people, because it's a little bit of the older way of thinking, but they get into this employee mindset.
Yeah.
And not that it's all bad. We need
Mhm.
all kinds of people out there doing all kinds of things to keep our world going and to keep everything flowing.
Mhm.
Um, I do love the idea of entrepreneurial minded businesses and what you chatted about. And so, for people out there that are kind of like, gosh, I really want to own my own business, and I've been, doing retail for years, or I've been at this um, desk job for far too long, but I have
Mhm.
these things that I'm really good at.
Mhm.
It's like, how, because it can be scary.
Yeah.
You get this check every week or every 2 weeks or whatever the system does these days, and you
Mhm.
get used to it, and it's like,
Mhm.
ooh, that feels good. Oh, and then they throw in that insurance, that medical insurance,
Mhm.
and so there's that little sort of like ploy to keep you
Yes. Mhm.
the worker bee. And so I know that there's fear involved and it's scary.
Mhm.
And so what do you say to the people that are thinking about, I guess, what you would have told your friend, I
Yeah.
don't know if she was used to being an employee or not, but it's like, I
Mhm.
still feel like you can work your dream entrepreneurial gig alongside of your
Mhm.
employee gig and get the best of both worlds while you're building this shit up. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah. Mhm.
it doesn't have to be scary. It just you have to have the will and the want. How bad do you want it? Like,
Mhm.
so anyway, that's my thought. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. So I think that we kind of are in alignment there because there's some people that'll say, "Oh, just take the leap of faith. The universe will open up for you. Just leave, boom, and go." And then there's other people that say, "No, just keep working your 9 to 5, forget your dream." I'm in the middle. Um, I do think the universe will open up for people, but just so that they keep that safety. I mean, so for someone that has a full-time job that's looking to do something they're not fulfilled, I would say start something on the side, start something on the side that's passionate and you can pour your passion in. And you're not at the point where you leave your job and you have no income and you're like desperate. Your passion has to fill your income now because that's a different type of energy. Whereas your needs are being fulfilled with your full time job, you can feel your passion on the side, because you have your needs being fulfilled. And then slowly but surely you can work into making that full time. And um, I I've been an entrepreneur multiple times in my life, and I want to say, don't be afraid to ask for help. Every coach has a coach. Um, I have a amazing business coach, and she is not cheap, and she is not in my budget.
Mhm.
But the difference, again, I just saw a meme that said this, the difference between the poor and the wealthy is poor people will say, "Oh, I can't afford that." Wealthy people will say, "How can I afford that?" And so, thankfully, when I met this amazing woman, I paused and I said, "I need to have her. Um, how can I afford her? What can I do to get her?" And I did. So I would say start on the side with something you're passionate about and slowly but surely move into that direction. Get a mentor because a mentor is going to speed up that process. A business coach, a mentor is going to speed up that process. And what might on your own take years to build and it may never grow to that level, you can grow it in months with the right coach or mentor. So I'm big on that. And that's what I told her. I said, "Listen, my friend has no job, no income." So I was just like, "Okay, you have nothing. How about this? Get a journal, and half of your time is diving into your ideas and looking up programs of certifications for either a coach or a therapist, or she's looking into hypnotherapy. She's looking into quantum healing hypnosis, all this cool stuff." I'm like, get a journal and just look at these different programs and prices and, feel how it feels in your body and just play with the ideas. And then the other half of your time, look for something that you can do remote, um, in Idaho from your apartment, and that's going to pay the bills. So, like half and half. Don't let go of that dream, but you have nothing. So, let's do a little bit of both. That was like a
Totally.
little bit the mama bear saying, "Well, yes, dream, but we are also going to get some kind of income going."
Yeah. Well, as we're coming to the end of our hour, I really love everything that we've shared, and I really, what is the what is the best way for people to get a hold of you or to kind of have maybe a consultation with you, or like, I really love the idea of the financial sovereign method. The name of it just feels good to me,
Yeah.
it resonates, and also I know it's just going to resonate with so many people, and I feel like what we both do is just remind people of their innate
Mm,
power that they have inside of them, and
mhm.
we like remind them, hey, you have intuition, use it,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I'm excited to share that with you. I actually outlined it. So maybe the next time we have some time together, I'm going to share it with you for your feedback and ideas. I can give my email and my Instagram. Should I put that in the
oh,
chat?
I'll do all that, but
They
would
can, yeah, they can email me or reach out on Instagram's probably the best.
Mhm.
Um, I would say either of those is
Okay.
perfect.
Okay, great. And so I know that we've given people some great ideas. I love what we said in the beginning is that to be thinking with the laws of abundance. Let's get rid of the fear and the lack. And first of all, just have gratitude, be
Mhm.
aware. And what did you say? Oh, think about how you feel about other people's wealth. I loved that.
Mhm.
You said that was a
That's a big
trigger.
trigger. I see that. I see a lot of people with jealousy and even anger when they see someone doing well, and that's why you're not attracting it. When you celebrate other people's success, that comes to you. Your success is what follows.
That is a super interesting phenomenon to me, because
Mhm.
I would think you would be excited for them and that you
Yeah.
would want to learn from them. Like, how did you do that? Let
Mhm.
me pull you into my circle or my
Mhm.
tribe. Teach me. That's
Yeah.
anyway. But I can see, and then also, our habits. Oh my gosh, that was such a big one for the show today. So gratitude, awareness. How do you feel inside? And then
Mhm.
habits, and then I think also the self-talk, the verbiage that we use out loud and to ourselves is such a huge one. And then what do you think, what were some of the highlights of this show for you?
Um, I think honestly just connecting to you, we're so in alignment and just diving deeper into our reality, our financial system, and the masses, like how the masses think, and trying to shift that. And hopefully this message will reach the people it's meant to reach. And I think there's a lot of people out there right now that are open to shifting, and that are open to this new paradigm of thinking and this new way and this new earth that we're going to be building, so I'm excited for this to get out there. And I would love to offer a free financial analysis to any of your viewers that feel it might be in alignment for them. Feel free to reach out to me.
Cool, I love it.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah,
Thank you.
I love my like-minded sovereign souls, freedom oriented individuals. So please, I love that. I'm calling them in, the freedom souls. How can I serve you? So
Love that. And mind you, there are people that feel there's nothing wrong, they're fine, they don't need any of this, and that's fine, that is great.
yeah.
So definitely we're attracting in the people that feel like that there's something calling them. So
Mhm.
thank you so much, Miss Regina, for hanging out with us today. And I know you're going to get a lot of feedback. And you guys go ahead and post in the comments below what you thought of today. And we're going to just keep going with some great shows for you on How We Heal with Dr. Maria. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us today. It is a hard talk, but we did it, Regina. And so thank you so much, guys. And
Thank
we'll,
you, Dr. Maria.
okay, bye, everyone.